Waiva, Nganana, Ijala, Gurawani, Injaguri, Jului, Nula, Mulanagandu, Nguranga, Banigu, Gindaguru, Bininagura, Ganjalgu, Dula, Nguranga, Nganana, Jururi, Oranganigu, Yindaguru, Waiba. I spoke in the Ngalama language to acknowledge the Ngalama people of this land. Thank you to Ngalama linguist Kerry Churnside for teaching me how to respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners, past and present. Ko Tangiora toku ingoa, ko Ngāti Kahungunu, me Ngāti Parau oku iwi, ko Taki Timu, me Horauta oku waka, he airihi me Māori ahau. So I've just spoken to you in my native tongue from Aotearoa, New Zealand. My name is Tangiora, my tribes, you can see there, my canoes, and I am an Irish Māori woman. So to the left is John McGee, my maiden name's McGee, and he is my great-great-grandfather. My great-great-grandmother is Matere Piki Uha, and as you can see, she wears the moko kauai, like myself, and this is my beautiful koro, my grandfather, my mother's father, Koro Wite Tauhuata. Recently, my moko kauai was revealed, which are the markings that you see on my chin. I finally joined my mother and sisters. This gift talks about my tribal affiliations and the line of ministers that I come from. My grandfather, my great-great-grandfather, and my great-great-great-grandfather were all Anglican ministers. I'm thankful for the prayers of the past that are playing out in my life today. I'm the mother of 8 children. I am the grandmother of a Yamaji, Māori, and Solomon Island boy, and 3 of my children have Aboriginal partners, which has given us a rich cultural blessing. I have been a resident of Eramaguru Roburn for 17 years and 3 months. The theme for this year's International Women's Day is Inspire Inclusion. I have a few themes to speak to over the next 20 minutes, and we'll segue into those themes with a soundbite. I work in radio, so I couldn't help myself. So yes, ladies, watch this space for that soundbite. I am the CEO of Ngaarda Media Aboriginal Corporation, and I am blessed to be guided by strong Injibandi women who sit on my board. Ngaarda Media was created for all Aboriginal people of the Pilbara. It connects Aboriginal communities across the Pilbara through sharing of language, culture, news, sport, community, messaging and entertainment. It is the only news and local content licensed Aboriginal broadcaster and the collective voice of more than 30 language groups of traditional owners across the Pilbara. Ngaarda Media places importance on providing positive messages and opportunities to Aboriginal people and encourages Aboriginal people to share their stories, to support healing and move towards living longer and healthier lives. It is the only First Nations media outlet in WA with a dedicated daily 5-minute news bulletin focused on First Nations breaking news. Ngaarda Media comes from Injibandi community-based members with its 4 community organisations as members, which are Injibandi Aboriginal Corporation, Injibandi Ngura Aboriginal Corporation, Injibandi Trust, and Y3CN, which covers community, commerce, and culture. I've been working in First Nations media for 7 years. My role is to create partnerships and actively look for funding to top up our grant from the National Indigenous Australian Agency. Many Aboriginal men and women in this sector that I work in, rural Australia, are on $45,000 to $50,000 a year. A journalist working for mainstream media in the regions will start at around $65,000 and move towards $90,000 if you are Chief of Staff. I wanted to give you an insight into my sector and the massive pay gap that exists compared to content creators working in mainstream media and in the cities of Australia. Ngaarda Media and regional radio are real examples of the gap and how businesses can help address that. By supporting Ngaarda Media through engaging us to do your photography, videography, live streaming, outside radio broadcasts, and drone work, you are investing in the Aboriginal Media Hub in the Pilbara, the only one. You are investing in future jobs for our mob and the sustainability of our unique storytelling. Here is the first soundbite. Many of you may have seen this go viral. You can just read those words. Speak life over yourself. Our words are important. Here we go. I am woman, I am fearless, I am sexy, I'm divine, I'm unbeatable, I'm creative, honey. You can get in line. I am feminine, I am masculine, I am anything I want. I can teach you, I can love you if you got it going on. Now you might have seen that on TikTok, but just let those words wash over you. We've got 3 more sound bites to go. Ngaarda Media Aboriginal Corporation supports women to step outside of their comfort zones and creates leaders in our sector. Ngalama woman Sam Walker and Ngaji Gurungal woman Cassie Arawal were successful in receiving ABC scholarships last year that gave them both the experience of a lifetime. They were accepted to report at the FIFA World Cup as cadets. What an opportunity. Cassie's role was mobile journalism. She learned how to film professionally with her mobile phone and how to use professional audio devices to improve the quality of sound when filming interviews and using the phone. Sam Walker's role was to learn how to commentate the FIFA World Cup games. She told me it was challenging because she had to familiarise herself with team players, their numbers, while updating a live audience about the soccer ball, the play, and the drama. You can only imagine how full on that was. I'm very proud of these 2 women. Cassie, who is the younger one of the 2, she is 24 years old and represented Ngaarda Media at the Women in Media Conference last year, which is part of her leadership journey. And I want to see her go to Leadership WA as well. One day, Cassie will oversee and manage the Breakfast and National Radio program. Cassie's wages are paid by the Ngalama Injibandi Foundation under the Waragumagari Yurdiabura program. So that just goes to show as a not-for-profit, it's challenging for us to pay workers. She is also doing a sound engineer cadetship as we have a recording studio that is yet to produce future albums from this community. So how can you do your part to inspire inclusion? And what does that look like at Ngaarda Media? We have 1 toilet block for women, men, and those who identify with the LGBTQI plus community. We also have a toilet wheelchair access. Now this is very important when you are wanting to inspire diversity and inclusion, and especially if you want the Queen, the Injibandi Queen, to show up and do her radio show, Kdcci Daniel. So I have permission to speak about the next 2 beautiful women in my life. We pick up 70-year-old Kdcci Daniel, an Injibandi elder, every Wednesday who is in a wheelchair. While she hosts her radio program, we make her cups of tea and we prepare her food. One of our videographers also takes Kdcci 3 days a week to Marapikarinya, Port Hedland, for dialysis treatment until a permanent arrangement is made. This is unique for a media station to take on this care. However, our values are many, and I would like to highlight these values: respect for culture, elders, community, family, and also inclusion. I'm also using this platform to highlight the dire need of dialysis within the city of Karratha. Ngalama jazz singer, Lois Saoni, joined the Ngaarda Media team this year. She has elephantitis and has learned to work and live with it with the utmost grace. At 60 years old, she is very excited about her job and has relocated from Bawloo, Perth, to Eramaguru, Roebourne, to be part of the dream team. Lois prefers to kneel rather than sit on a chair. We created an office space for her with a coffee table and an outside broadcast radio kit so she can broadcast from her office. Lois will be leading future projects and working with the community to create new songs and produce albums from our state-of-the-art recording studio. We need to create jobs for women who live and thrive with their disability. Ngaarda Media is a place for the underrepresented groups within our community. Okay, Whitney Houston, rest in peace. You can read along to these words. Speak life. It's one of my tips for being a successful, powerful woman. All right, here we go. I'm everyone. It's all in me. Surely you know this one. I do it literally. All right, here we go. 3, 4. I'm everyone. It's all in me. A to Z. Yes, we can read thoughts from A to Z. Oh my gosh, it's that instinct that women have. Ngaarda Media creates opportunities for women of all ethnicities to host their own radio show as a volunteer. I've reached out to Thai, Indian, Māori and African women. I boast about the Ngaarda radio app and the ability for their families who live on the other side of the world to tune in via our website, connecting loved ones through radio. You too can be a volunteer at Ngaarda Radio. Ngaarda Media supports women in business by sharing their stories in a creative way. You can advertise with Ngaarda Radio, and we will also interview women in business as a community service. This week, we interviewed Britta Bruggen, a Filipino woman who grew up in Jandamana, Tom Price. She is a personal chef and created an authentic Filipino dish called chicken abodo. We also got to eat that chicken abodo. So that's our big highlight when we bring chefs into the studio. It's important to take the time to listen to women when they speak about their experiences and voice their opinion. Listen twice, speak once. Be slow to speak and quick to listen. I often find myself saying these quotes, reminding myself to do better. Ngaarda Media was a link to the outside world for a Māori woman who was sent to Karratha prison in Bali after arriving in Denpasar from Melbourne in 2016. Officials said that she was drunk and yelling, which led to her arrest. They found 0.5 gram of methamphetamine on her and she served 2 years. Her name is Myra Williams. I heard about this story from her auntie who was living in Karratha at the time, and my darling and I decided to visit her in jail when we went to Bali in 2017 with friends. We took her KFC and rice, toiletries and cash. Myra was allowed to have a mobile phone and she used the cash we gave her to purchase data. Myra downloaded the Ngaarda Radio app and tuned into Rand's Reggae Rhythms, a volunteer program that was running at the time. Every week, Myra requested reggae songs, she was on Facebook, while listening from a Balinese prison. Miss Williams has been reunited with her son and lives in Aotearoa. Once I started having children, I became a homemaker. I embraced it. My husband encouraged me to care for our home and children, and I felt no pressure to make money and contribute financially to our household bills, and I am grateful for that. So in my 20s and early 30s as a homemaker, that was my career. And I think it's a good way to look at it in this Western world where, we're thinking about university and career pathways. It is a career pathway. It has been reported that being a full-time mother is equivalent of 2.5 full-time jobs, according to a study from 2018. I'm a mother of 8 children, and this year marks 31 years that my darling and I have been together. Here is a snapshot of what my mothering skills looked like in the late 90s, whilst running a sharing business with an average of 5 shearers, 3 rousies, a wool presser, and a wool classer. Sometimes my wool classing skills were needed when an employee failed to show up. I remember breastfeeding our 5th child and having to orchestrate the movements of my children from 4 a.m. in the morning, travelling to the sharing shed, roughly 80 kilometres away, whilst our children were sleeping. We started work at 7 a.m. My 4 eldest would play in the wool pens and the sheep pens, and also look after the baby. I would breastfeed our baby during smoko. I also homeschooled our children, teaching character first and maths and English later. I used to grind my wheat and make bread from scratch. And I had a veggie garden of doom that showcased the biggest, juiciest tomatoes and corn. Being a homemaker in my 20s and 30s prepared me for the position that I embrace wholeheartedly today. These are some of the skills I picked up as a full-time homemaker. I learned about time management whilst juggling household tasks, working in the sharing sheds and organising dinner. Communication skills. I'm a nosy journalist that has a skill in persuasion when I meet nervous interviewees. I learned how to listen better, and homeschooling was a baptism of fire if you're in the business of growing in character. The constant questions and repeating oneself can be exhausting. People management, organising daily lessons, supporting my husband with the bookwork for the sharing sheds, and overseeing a team of sharers, negotiating with farmers, looking after wool handlers. This experience helps you to manage people in the workplace. I believe that this time gave me resilience, and being so young, I did not crumble under the pressure. Problem solving. As a homeschooling mother, I taught my children to self-govern their daily learning experience. Researching at libraries, we collected books from opera shops, and it was an excellent resource to learn before the rise of the internet. Organisational skills. The buddy system helped me to stay sane and gave me the freedom to accomplish other jobs within our home. So how the buddy system worked was that my first four, Hemi, his buddy was Hamiora, who's my fifth child. Mahalia's buddy was Manawa, my sixth child. Anaheta's buddy was Ngaarda, our seventh child, and Aroha had our baby girl, Tangiora, who was my namesake. So what would happen is that when they would get up and brush their teeth, they would take their buddy, teach them how to brush their teeth. They would go through the motions of making their bed, getting ready for school. But I must give a shout out to Aroha, my fourth eldest, because she had a bigger job, but she wanted baby Tangiora as a buddy. So she would get the baby bag, the nappies, boil the hot water and get the baby powder. She was such a blessing, and that freed me up to do other things and not yell all the time, I suppose. I used to work at ABC Pilbara, and when I gave birth to our eighth child, I was allowed to bring my newborn into the studio to present Saturday breakfast. The organisational flow started the day before, as I had to get up at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. Now, as the CEO of Ngaarda Media, I have resources that help me with my daily schedule. I love Trello. If you're not on Trello, get on it. And we also have a family Facebook Messenger, so I only need to speak once. Our family meet once a week for Sunday dinner, and we also have weekly meetings at that dinner. The Ngaarda Media staff also use Facebook Messenger to communicate during the radio sessions. Okay, Alicia Keys. Am Superwoman, yes I am. Yes, she is. Superwoman with an S on my chest, oh yeah. Superwoman. We are all superwoman. We have our days where, things are a mess or we're not behaving as we should be. But tomorrow's a new day. We can get up, ask for forgiveness and soldier on, right? Okay. Ngaarda Media has 31,000 followers on Facebook. Ngaarda Media has employed an estimated 15 women over the last 7 years, which is phenomenal when you consider that 7 years ago, when I left the ABC Pilbara, there were 2 full-time workers and I was one of them. We have always had a strong representation of Independent women on our board with a vision to see Ngaarda Media become a reputable news and multimedia hub. In 2024, Ngaarda Media employs 9 employees. It is also trying to report on a remote and regional area that gets underreported on every level: remote, state, and national. We don't shy away from stories that are controversial and are trained to tell those stories in a fair and balanced way. I want you to know that we are interested in partnerships. We want to connect with you. I hope you have put your business card into the fish bowl at the front desk. Please drop your card or business details in the bowl. We will announce the winner before you leave. You will win a voucher for a 1-week radio campaign. The only thing you need to pay for is its production and the voiceover. You will also need to supply a script. It's a pleasure to celebrate International Women's Day with you today. Tune in to Ngaarda Radio via our website or the Community Plus app. The frequency here in Karratha is 92.1 FM. Our daily news and breakfast show kicks off at 8 a.m, the Roban Regional Prison Show every Tuesday from 9, and our national on Fridays at 1 p.m. And we are now going to finish off with our last soundbite. Surely we're going to get some of you singing now. This is a goodie, but an oldie but a goodie. Here we go. There was a time when they used to say that behind every great man there had to be a great woman. Times have changed, that's no longer true, 'cause we're coming out of the kitchen and there's something we forgot to say to you. Sisters are doing it for themselves, standing on their own 2 feet. Yes. Sisters are doing it for themselves. Thank you.